Hi, friends. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. We feel so blessed to be with you on this show. This is where we take a fresh look at ourselves and the world around us. I'm Debbie Georgiani, and Jerry Usher is traveling today. It is pledge drive season, but I believe he is going to be calling in for part of the show because he didn't want to miss this particular topic. So you just have me today and you. I'm hoping you participate. And speaking of pledge drive season, I'm going to be taking off for, I'm so excited, Cleveland's Catholic Radio, AM 1260, The Rock in Cleveland. Tomorrow, we start on Wednesday and we go through Friday, which is the 100th anniversary of Our Lady of Fatima, her last apparition to the shepherd children on October 13th. What a great day to finish off a fun drive. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to be interviewing Bishop Perez, the newly installed Bishop of Cleveland. I'm very excited about that, so I cannot wait to get there. And but I'll be calling in tomorrow's show. Jerry's going to be calling in today. I'll be calling in tomorrow because we don't want to be away from you. That is the absolute truth. We both were together in Seattle at Seattle's fall drive, and it was wonderfully successful, just an amazing experience. But Jerry and I talked about it, and we don't want to be away from you guys, especially during pledge drive season, because we kind of feel, disconnected, and we don't like that because we're a family, a Take Two family. So Jerry's going to be calling in. I'll be calling in tomorrow. But today you have me, and we're talking about today, how has your love for your spouse grown? Okay, Jerry actually came up with this topic, and I'm going to read to you the synopsis that he put on the take2show.com. That's where we put all of our upcoming shows and a little brief explanation of them. And it says, seeing through sacramental glasses. On Monday, call in and share with Jerry and Debbie and the world how your love for your spouse has grown over the years or decades, in spite of him or her getting older, gaining weight, struggling with sin, turning out to not be perfect, losing his or her hair, having obnoxious relatives, etc. Should be a truly inspiring conversation. Be sure you're part of it. That was the synopsis that Jerry Usher wrote, and I'm chuckling because it just cracks me up. Maybe this is why he didn't get married, because he's putting all these things that, we just all must expect as we get older in our relationships. But this is a very, very interesting topic. I did a lot of thought and prayer about it, and I think we're going to have a great conversation about it. So here's the number, 1-800-585-9396, 1-800-585-9396. How has your love for your spouse grown over the years, in spite of all the things that were listed? They start to change, their personality maybe changes, their physical appearance changes, things that, you once loved about them now become very annoying. I remember the I Love Lucy skit where she just, Lucille Ball just got so annoyed at every time Ricky would stir his coffee. All of a sudden that irritated her. And I remember the episode. It was hilarious. But it's so true. I mean, things that you might have found endearing and really cute or really attractive at the beginning, as it gets older, it changes. But how has your love grown? How has it deepened? See, because we're looking through this, seeing through the sacramental glasses, okay? Because our marriages being a sacrament takes on a whole new meaning. Okay, it's much bigger than just the human existence of the two coming together. The two become one and help each other get to heaven. And it's really a very interesting love that matures, even in spite of all the things that we listed. So that's what we're talking about today, seeing through sacramental glasses in your relationship. How has your love grown for your spouse? Here's the phone lines are already lighting up. This is going to be a very active discussion. 1-800-585-9396. Okay, real quickly, just a quick shout out. We're excited to welcome another new station, now part of the EWTN radio family. Hello to everyone listening on FM 105.5 WRXJ, serving Burlington, Vermont. That's EWTN's first station in the state of Vermont. Wow, bring Jerry and I out there for a talk. I would love to go to Vermont. I've only been to Vermont one time. I grew up in New Jersey, And I just loved it. What an amazing state. Our thanks to Donna and John McSorley at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Radio for their hard work to launch WRXJ. It's a lot of hard work, so really just give a shout out to God, a praise report to God, saying thanks for Donna and John McSorley for all their hard work and perseverance to launch a station that takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. So the McSorleys, I think there's going to be a special place in heaven for you for launching this a radio station. But it's great. I think it's a great ministry. Again, welcome to all our new listeners now hearing us on FM 105.5 WRXJ, serving Burlington, Vermont, the newest member of the EWTN radio family. Welcome to the family. Okay. That is awesome. So here's the number, 1-800-585-9396. We're talking about how has your love for your spouse grown over the years in spite of all the changes that your spouse may, go through. All the personality changes, physical changes, whatever. This is just, we're going to have a very candid discussion. I'm alone today. Jerry is traveling. It's pledge drive season, but he will be calling in. He told me he's going to be calling in probably midway of the show, and that's great. So we can't wait to hear from him. I want to know what inspired him to come up with this topic. I think it's really great. So dial in 1-800-585-9396 and get on the show and let's talk about it, because this is what Take Two is all about. You drive the show, okay? And what you have to say really does make a difference in other people's hearts. We hear it all the time. People write in and say, oh, Joni called in and said this, and it really inspired me. It's very true. We all help one another. That's what Take Two is all about. So join us. How has your love grown over the years? We'll be right back.
Post your intentions on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's website. To get there, just click on the bright yellow J&D logo at take2show.com. Jerry and Debbie personally reply to every prayer intention that's posted. Others will also offer you their prayer support. When there's something important you want prayers for, post it on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's site. Visit take2show.com, click on the J&D logo today.
60 on 10 with Monsignor Charles Pope.
The first commandment, I am the Lord your God. You shall have no strange gods before me. In this commandment, God seeks to protect us from false claims to our worship and obedience. And there's a great sad history of people who have trusted in gods other than Him or things other than Him, and the ruin that it has caused. So God is trying to protect us and call us to an absolute trust and obedience of Him. He asks us to trust Him above all things and above all other people or so-called gods. We have to also avoid things like consulting horoscopes, palm reading, clairvoyance, recourse to mediums, any desire to try to control things apart from God. God simply says, trust me, I'm the Lord your God. I am the first commandment. I am the Lord your God. You shall have no strange gods before me.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic. How about this? Apple TV allows you to instantly stream EWTN to your TV. Get EWTN today. It's easy. All you need is a high-speed internet connection, a TV, and the Apple TV player.
This is Colleen Kelly Mast.
Hello, this is Archbishop Charles J. Chaput, the Archbishop of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
This is Catherine Seltner, host of EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. Thanks for listening to EWTN Radio.
Thanks for jumping in on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You're lighting up those phone lines. There's still an open phone line, so if you feel a little tug in your heart or in your spirit to call in and share some wisdom about how has your love grown for your spouse over the years, seeing your love through sacramental glasses, then call in 1-800-585-9396. Again, Jerry Usher is traveling, heading to a pledge drive, but he'll be calling in and he'll share with us what's going on with his travels, and so that we can pray for him for, in this it's unfortunate, but in this day and age, we really have to pray for one another when we leave our front door, when we go out our front door, because you never know, and you got to live in the moment and really pray for one another that we return safely and all that. But we have faith in God, so we keep purging along, and it's all good. By the way, hi to everybody on the YouTube chat. You guys are awesome, and Facebook Live. I love joining you on the chat. You're such a wonderful family that participates, and you can view the show. Take two. Okay, so once again, the number is 1-800-585-9396. First up, way to go, Carlos in Fremont, Ohio on Annunciation Radio. Hi, Carlos. You were the first one to come in strong. What do you got to say about this topic?
That's pretty cool, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is one of the topics that really excites me about my faith, and so I wanted to share it with you guys. But basically, my wife and I got married. We were very, very young. I was an exchange student from Colombia when I came to this country, and she ended up getting pregnant as I went back home. I ended up coming back and marrying her, but we got married basically in the courthouse. We didn't get married in God's eyes. 10 years went by, and I re-proposed to her, and we had a wonderful wedding, in front of God. And our faith, basically the blessing that we got that day really, really changed our whole complex of the relationship. And the love grew so much to the point now we've been married 22 years. It's just unbelievable. I mean, just because that happened and God was actually able to bless our marriage, we saw the big difference that brought into the relationship. So when you talk about the sacramental eyes, oh my gosh, I mean, that's exactly what happened to us. And I still see it to this day. We have 4 boys.
Wow.
We've been married a long time now, but just looking back, how the relationship grew and where it's at now is just unbelievable.
So it transcended from a civil union into a sacrament. When you said you got, it was blessed in the church. Carlos, can you share like a little bit just for our folks? We have a lot of listeners that are civilly married, and what you have to say is very important because you have experienced both. You have experienced the civil union, and then you experienced and still are the sacramental union. And so can you kind of give us a little bit of a specific of the specifics of how it has changed? Like, do you pray together? Do you find that there's more meaning to the family and the marriage? I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'd love to hear it from you.
No, I appreciate that you asked that because it's really hard for me to explain with words because basically there was very little love coming from my side. I know my wife did have a lot of love coming from me personally. Just put, the way that we got put into that relationship kind of got stuck with each other in a way. But after we got married in the church, obviously we still had those feelings for each other, but there is this extra, there's something else in there that is really hard to explain. It's God working in both of us. Where, oh my gosh, it's like my eyes were completely different when I looked at her. Now we go to church together every Sunday with our kids. The faith is very, very important in our family. But the big thing that I think it changed was more just the way that we looked at each other. The way stupid little things would really tick us off. And then after that, like the faith, once God was able to bless our marriage, there wasn't any of that. We still have discussions and disagreements, but we have never, it just has grown so much to the point where I wish that everybody would experience that. When people talk about having the sacrament in your, as part of your relationship and have the relationship be blessed by God, I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. And what that means is that there's your wife, husband, wife, and then there's God in the middle of the whole thing, basically brightening your relationship and blessing it every day. And that's kind of what we feel, and it's just
right.
It's just been amazing from going from where we started to where we're at.
Right. I'm glad you said that it's hard to put words around it, because I agree with that. I mean, it just, sacraments in general, it's very hard to explain them in words. But what you had to say about how it sounds like you looked at each other, from a much bigger eternal aspect, as opposed to just what can that person do for me in the moment. So it changes the focus. It makes it a very meaningful existence, a purposeful union, and also the ultimate goal to achieve heaven. And so when you switch focus like that, and you put God in the center, and you rely on God to be definitely part of the marriage or the sacrament of matrimony, it makes everything makes sense. So the other things kind of that you can pull them away. The little things that maybe are annoying, or the little things that of a personality trait or something like that, they don't mean anything because you're looking at the bigger picture. Is that fair to say, Carlos?
Absolutely. So what I would say, a lot of people start out very different than we did, a lot older, very more mature, and they get married in the church from the very beginning. But what they don't realize is that just because God bless your relationship, that's not just it. I mean, you have to work at it. You have to realize that God is the one driving the relationship, and there's a third component to that relationship. And when you realize that, that's when God really comes into your relationship and makes it stronger. So when you keep God out of the relationship, even though He blessed it in that ceremony, but if you keep Him out of the relationship, you don't allow Him to come in and work in it. That's when people have problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have all these relationships that go to waste, but they do not allow God to come in and work in their relationship.
Right. Right. Well, and you know what? You bring up a really good point, because we're probably going to get a lot of emails that say, well, what process did Carlos go through with his wife? And it's if I may say, it's the convalidation ceremony in the Catholic Church. And I would encourage folks, if you were civilly married outside of the church, I would encourage you to go to the Catholic Church and speak to a deacon or your pastor, and find out if you can have a convalidation ceremony, so to bring your marriage into the church. Also, too, Rose Sweet is an awesome expert on marriage and remarriage and divorce and convalidation services and annulments. And so rosesweet.com if you want to get some more information. But I just wanted to say that, Carlos, because you brought up that you and your wife went through this, and it was so wonderful and how it changed. I'm sure after your comment and your experience, we're going to get a lot of calls and a lot of emails asking, well, I want what Carlos has.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as the whole, what the church, obviously when we went to our first pastor, he did kind of sound like, well, you guys are already married, we can just bless your marriage. And I said, no, we want to have a ceremony. So we spoke to a different pastor, and we went through, the whole marriage, yeah, so kind of like what you talked about. It's been almost 11 years now, so I can't remember exactly what it was called. But we went through that ceremony, and then had an actual wedding in the church.
Oh, you did?
To
Okay.
celebrate our marriage.
Okay. So you actually went through the whole, yes. Okay. Okay. Got it. So not just a priest or a deacon blessing the marriage. You actually went through like it was brand new.
Exactly. Correct.
Awesome.
We went to like we were just getting together first time.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, God bless you. What a beautiful story. And I would definitely, I hope your wife gets to listen to the rebroadcast of the show. I think it's wonderful how you spoke about your marriage and your family and the 4 boys. And wow, you're blessed, Carlos. I think you know that, though, because that's why you called in and sharing it. So thank you for that. Thanks for the contribution today. And thanks for listening to Take Two, and tell all my friends up at Annunciation Radio. I'll be there in about a month and can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Okay, the number to get in is 1-800-585-9396. We're talking about how has your love grown for your spouse over the years in spite of all the changes that happen when we all get older, and we will. That's one thing we can be sure of. And, can you see your spouse through those sacramental glasses? I mean, it's really a great discussion to have. Okay, Anne-Marie, you've been waiting so patiently in Indiana, listening on Redeemer Radio. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, but just Debbie today. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Oh, hey, Debbie, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Well, doing okay, I guess. Well, my husband was heaven sent. And we're coming up on 25 years of marriage on October 17th. We were married at the Basilica of the Sacred Heart at Notre Dame. I was a great sinner and had fallen away from the church for many years. And when I decided that I had had enough of myself and my sin and finally broke down and God was calling me the whole time, I gave my life to God. I said, whatever you want, Father. I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to do this anymore. Whatever you want from me, show me the way. And I gave myself over. And in that year, so many good things happened to me. I revived my faith, went to a very long confession, and this was a man that came into my life, and he was one of 3 men that came into my life that year. And I had 3 marriage proposals in that year after I came back to the church. But I wanted, of course, a Catholic, so I chose the man who was the Catholic among them and the one that stole my heart away anyway, so of the 3. I've been married to him now, coming up on 25 years of marriage. We are very tight. We've always been very tight. We, of course, keep God in the marriage because without God, you don't have a marriage. And I just love him dearly. He's full of flaws, but who isn't? I know I'm one of those as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. So our marriage is very good. How do we keep it going? Lots of patience, understanding. We don't keep anger in. We don't. And the patience has to be there, and the understanding that we are neither of us perfect. That we will sin within the marriage. We will sin within, in our private lives. But he is one person I can go to and just tell whatever and be totally honest and tell him whatever's on my mind, whatever's in my heart. Mm-hmm. And he is the most wonderful individual. My best friend and my lover. He's my greatest guy. And so that is who I chose to spend my life with, and I'm looking forward to another 25 years.
Wow.
Now, I have...
Okay, well, Anne-Marie, first off, I don't think you shared his first name. Can we all celebrate with you?
Absolutely. Stephen.
Stephen, okay. Stephen and Anne-Marie. Okay, awesome. I just want to make sure you have it imprinted on this particular show so you can replay this for him every year in October for your anniversary. Well, first off, Anne-Marie, we want to wish you an early happy 25th anniversary. That is awesome. I love the way you are speaking about how when you committed your life to God and you just said, okay, Lord, this is it. And then Stephen came into your life, and it was just, you said heaven sent. I think it's really wonderful that you have this wonderful relationship that that you're both trying to get each other to heaven. I think it's fabulous. But Anne-Marie, I think you have one more thing to say. I kind of cut you off, and I apologize, but we're getting ready. We're coming up right against a hard break. So if you could just hold on just for a few minutes longer, if you can, I'd love to have you share. Okay, perfect. So share that comment when we come back after the break. And then also, too, I got another question I want to ask you, Anne-Marie. For those listeners that are preparing for marriage, I mean, you're celebrating 25 years, October 17th. That is awesome. So we want to make sure we tap into your wisdom. Okay, this is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Jerry is traveling today. He's going to be calling in, I think, later on in the show. But there's still time for you to get in and talk about seeing your relationship through Sacramental glasses. How has your love grown for your spouse over the years when things change, when they get older? Here's the number if you want to dial in to be part of this wonderful conversation. 1-800-585-9396. You can also text us. You text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response and put your first name in, your question or your comment, and I'll be happy to read it on the air and we can discuss it that way as well if you can't wait on the phones. But we'd love to hear from you. 1-800-585-9396. When we come back, going back to Anne-Marie, and we're going to tap into her wisdom about her marriage.
Barbara McGuigan.
However difficult the emotional and physical strain may be to remain faithful, I totally get that. We can never go wrong trusting in the voice of God. Know that I will pray that God, seeing your sincerity to do His perfect will, which is a beautiful thing to see, I pray He will bless you mightily with fertility.
Open Line with Barbara McGuigan. Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
And I'm Doug Keck, and this is an EWTN Bookmark Brief. I just finished interviewing Austin Roos about his book, Littlest Suffering Souls, Children Whose Short Lives Point Us to Christ. Austin, tell us what this book's about.
This book is about 3 contemporary children who suffered greatly, died young, and through their joyful suffering brought many people to Christ in the church.
Mm-hmm. And how did you come upon these stories? And it's a combination of people you sort of know plus others from the past.
Well, I knew the families. I know the families of the 3 children. The bulk of the book is 3 contemporary children. And I know the families, 2 from Northern Virginia and 1 from Paris. I've worked with the fathers of these families on Catholic and political issues and just learned the stories of the children.
Littlest Suffering Souls. Thank you so much, Austin.
Pleasure.
That's the title of the book published by TAN, subtitled Children Whose Short Lives Point Us to Christ, available through the EWTN Religious Catalog, EWTNRC.com. Look for the whole interview coming soon to EWTN's Bookmark. Thanks for joining us.
EWTN, teaching the truth.
Walsingham is a site where more than 300,000 Catholic pilgrims go every year. It's really the crossroads of the church from around Europe who are coming through that place. So I think it gives us a great opportunity to be able to capture new programming, new voices, new faces, which was, always something that was so important to Mother Angelica from the very beginning, our first international channels.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
I love the discussions we have here on Take Two. I learn something every single time we do the show. This is probably why Jerry and I can't be away from the show, because we learn so much from you. So thank you for now over a couple years that we've been broadcasting Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And just thank you to all the affiliates that carry Take Two, the rebroadcast at nighttime, on the weekends, the best of show, whatever works for your station. We sure do appreciate it. Okay, back to Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, it's a beautiful, your story is beautiful and it's very inspiring, and lots of young folks are contemplating marriage. And I just wanted to know from you, since your anniversary is coming up on October 17th, 25 years, what advice can you give those that are preparing for marriage?
What advice can I give? Pray a lot. Mm-hmm. Ask the Lord for guidance, ask Him for help, and be very picky, be very choosy. Do not sin while you're making your choice, and just let the person that you're considering, or anybody that you're dating, know that you are a devout Catholic, that things are going to be that way in your life, and that's if they're going to be in your life, that they also need to be in union with you in your faith. And so I think that is a very important piece of a marriage, is to be in unity in faith. I've seen too many mixed marriages. Different faiths just have so many problems when it comes down to the spirituality of the children and the thinking processes of how to deal with types of sin, or, how to just deal with problems in life, because you're not unified in your thought process. So I think that's extremely important. People can convert, of course, if their heart is there. If they're converting only because they want to marry a Catholic, then that may not be the best reason to do it. But if it's a truly heartfelt conversion, then you still have that unity. So I don't know what else to say about that. That's the main thing in our life, is to keep God there.
Yeah.
And
evenly yoked.
on him.
You're talking about being evenly yoked. No, I agree with you. Yeah. Anne-Marie, okay, so you had a comment I wanted to hear, because I feel so bad that I kind of wanted to make sure I got Stephen in there, but you had another comment you wanted to make.
Yes, so Stephen's father lost his wife in 1989 young to cancer, and 2 years later he remarried. Now, however, the woman he remarried had been married before. She was not Catholic. She, of course, didn't go through any annulment ceremony or anything, or ceremonial process, I should say. And so they married in the Lutheran church. She was Lutheran, and he actually was, I think, raised youth Lutheran too. And he had converted because Stephen's mother was Catholic, but he went right back to Lutheran when he met this lady. And they were married there. The problem with us as Catholics is we can't acknowledge the marriage because we know it's an invalid marriage. We love them both, and we've never said anything to them. But, in our private one-on-one together, we just don't feel like there's a true unity there, and we struggle with this. How do we help these people if we can bring them to God, or bring them to... How do we do that? If they're not following the Catholic faith, they certainly don't believe what we believe.
Oh, right, but and believe me, I'm not an expert on this at all. But this is just from what I would just approach it. So Stephen's dad, is he not a practicing Catholic anymore? He went and converted to being a Lutheran. Is that correct?
Well, yes, he was. I think he was raised Lutheran. Converted to Catholicism when he married Stephen's mother, and then went back to the Lutheran church after she passed.
Okay, I think that's a unique situation. Anne-Marie, I'm sure you probably have done this, but have you spoken to your deacon or your pastor about this? Because I don't want to speak, but I would love for you to talk to somebody in your church that you respect, and then maybe email me what they had said, because I would talk to them about that, about how to approach it, because it sounds like it stands a little irregular, so there might be a different way to approach it.
No, we haven't. I have not done it. I don't think Stephen has. He hasn't said anything to me. But we've struggled with it for years.
Right, because it's outside of the Catholic Church. I totally get that. I get that. But given that he is now a practicing Lutheran and she is, I just would be curious to see what your pastor or deacon has to say. If you do talk to them and ask them about this situation, or ask anyone else of any of our clergy about it, please email me. I'd be very curious, especially because this has come up before with other callers as well. And our email is take2@EWTN.com. Would you do that for me? If you get a chance. Okay, cool. Yeah, because that's a unique circumstance. But I understand what you're saying. It's very, it's difficult sometimes when we see our loved ones, especially when they leave the faith. There's a void. There is a hole. The family should be together in this. the Catholic Church, and when we have our loved ones that walk away for whatever reason, even if they were a different religion to begin with, but they converted to Catholicism, it's tough. It's really tough. So I can understand that you're probably feeling a lot of emotions with it, and I could imagine that. But yeah, if you can get back to us, I would really appreciate it. It helps for us. Jerry and I try to stay updated on all the different circumstances, and believe you me, there's like a million different circumstances out there.
But there are.
Oh, well, thank you, Anne Marie. I wish I could be of more help, but I'm actually going to defer over to a priest or a deacon for this one. But Anne Marie, we want to wish you a happy early October 17th is Anne Marie and Stephen's 25th anniversary. Everybody on October 17th say a beautiful prayer, just thanking God that the two of them are brought together. So happy anniversary, Anne Marie.
Thank you, Debbie. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, Ed, you have been waiting. Oh, my goodness, Ed, you definitely got the Patience Award today. It's a virtual award, Ed, so I don't know what you're going to do with it, but it's yours. In Jasper, Indiana, listening on the EWTN app. Hi, Ed. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, but it's really just me today.
Hi, Debbie. How's it going?
Good. How's it going with you?
Could be better. Could be worse, I guess.
What's up?
Well, my wife and I are in the middle of a divorce right now. And, your show's about how to love your spouse greater. And I'm on the side that we should be staying together. And she doesn't see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out, are there other ways that I can show her that I love her? Because she's not really receptive to, what would be a normal way between husband and wife.
Right. Have you guys attended a Retrovi retreat, Ed?
No, we haven't, but she's not open to doing one of those.
Is she open to any counseling?
We were doing some counseling earlier this summer,
mm-hmm.
and she was seeing a separate counselor than me, and
right.
It doesn't seem to have helped any.
Was it a Christian counselor, or was it just a secular? I mean,
it was actually the deacon. It was actually the deacon from our church.
Oh, okay.
It's the one that I had been seeing, but
okay.
I don't know who she
went to. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with in the secular world, there's a lot of great counselors, but especially if you have a sacramental marriage, it's very helpful if you can get a Catholic or Christian counselor. Ed, it sounds like you're really in that state of limbo where you want the marriage to continue on. Obviously, she's going in a different path. I mean, we can't control others' free will, but what just from a practical standpoint, I'm not a therapist, but I've just, I've been through a divorce, and I totally can understand what the emotions you're probably feeling. But Ed, I would just continue to work on your own spirituality, work on your own, deepening your own faith. A lot of times when we're going through what you're going through, Ed, sometimes we're constantly having the please God prayers, please God, help me with this. Please God, make this happen. Please God, please God. And that's great. I mean, that's still, you're having communication with God, but a lot of times we let our spiritual practices go by the wayside because we're kind of in the midst of the storm. And that's all the more reason to deepen our faith. You'll see that, great things will happen for you, for her, and possibly for the relationship if one or both of you keep journeying closer to God. I can't stress that enough. I learned that the hard way, Ed, because I know where you're at. I totally get it. Believe me, and it's gut-wrenching, but it's vitally important. Get in front of the Blessed Sacrament. Go to adoration. Try to go to daily masses. I mean, you're a practicing Catholic, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So go to daily mass. Receive the Eucharist. I mean, really be in a place, Ed, because you're in a good place. Go to confession regularly. Consult with a priest. Have a spiritual director. Keep doing what you need to do to keep the faith moving forward, and those prayers, I believe, are going to have to be of great worth to her, if not here, for her eternity. And so that's the name of the game. And I know it may hurt right now because you're not with her and you want to be with her. But remember, the real goal of marriage is to get each other to heaven. And, right now, if you two are separated, your prayers are going to help her. So I don't know if that helps at all, but I mean, if it rings true to you, then I would, really view it as hopefully it was the Holy Spirit, using me to try to, affirm something that somebody has said to you before or keep you going on that path. But it sounds like, you probably know all this already. Am I right?
Well, I've been trying to work on my faith, my spiritual journey. I've been going to confession a lot more. I've been going to confession a lot in the last year, and I've been struggling with some different things. Mm-hmm. And I've been starting to try to pray the rosary more. I've been kind of hit-miss for a while. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to make an effort to pray that more often.
Right.
So I'm working on it. I'm not so sure about the spiritual director part. We do have the Arch Abbey nearby, so.
Well, the thing about it is at least get somebody you trust in the church that you can bounce things off of, because sometimes when we're discerning different avenues for our lives and for what's happening right in front of us, we sometimes can go for that first initial thing that we think we want, but may not be the most beneficial for us in the long run. So it's always good to bounce it off of somebody you trust who is, has a deep faith themselves and has a good discernment practice. So I just would encourage that. But Ed, here's the thing. God wants us to free fall. He wants us to free fall right into his arms. And he'll allow certain circumstances, and they can be super painful, but he'll allow circumstances for us to finally just dive into the deep end. And I'm living proof of it. I can tell you that. If you heard my story, you'd be like, oh my goodness. So I know I'm saying this from my heart to yours. I know I can pretty much almost feel what you're going through. And the real freedom is going to be for you to deepen your faith and then see what happens from there. So I'm going to pray for that for you, that you really take it up a couple notches in your faith regimen, and let's see what transpires, and then keep in touch, really, because I'll be praying, and we pray and ask God for tons of things, but it's also good to have those praise reports and to thank God as well. So Take Two, the number 2 at EWTN.com, and I'll be praying around you, and so will the Take Two family, Ed. So feel those prayers, okay?
Thanks, Debbie. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're in this together. That's what this whole thing called life is all about. So, Ed, we're just going to be completely committed to you and your wife, and God's will be done. So thank you, Ed. Thank you for your call and your heart today. We can hear that you're under a lot of stress, and that's tough. So please, dear Take Two family, pray for Ed and his wife that, the best thing that could happen for them, obviously, is to get together, but also that they both maintain a strong faith in God. It's important. That's the utmost, to stay close to God. So thank you, Ed. Speaking of, I just want to say something real quickly. Catholic News Agency is I'm transitioning to that because I think it's important that we constantly be fed with the truth and, up-to-date news. Catholic News Agency is the only fast, reliable, and free Catholic news source that brings blogs and stories, opinions, and more right at your fingertips. And so if you want the latest in Catholic news, visit CatholicNewsAgency.com. It's an online service from EWTN News. And the reason why I say that, I think it's important for us to hear different people's opinions on things, with the Catholic lens. And it's important for us to stay updated because, we as Catholics, we have a very big faith, okay? Our religion is very big. And it's important that we stay up to date. So Catholic News Agency, don't forget to stay up to date on that. Okay, Andre, you have been waiting also so patiently in Queens, New York, listening on the EWTN app. Hi, Andre. Welcome to Take Two.
Oh, 1 second. Let me pull over.
Okay.
How you doing, Debbie? God bless you and your family and all your coworkers.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm glad you're pulling over in Queens, New York. You don't want to be driving and talking to me at the same time.
Definitely. And I am going to pray for Edward, and I think what you told him was great. He needs to put God first and just have his faith be stronger, because if you just have God in your heart and you put him first, you will get messages, and he will help you deal with that pain.
Yes.
Slowly but surely.
I so hope. Ed just dropped off, and I hope he was still listening, Andre, what you just said. I hope he goes back and listens to the rebroadcast, because that was so perfect what you just said. So thank you for that, for affirming that. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I was calling you, behalf on the marriage. I've been with my wife since she was 17, I was 18. I'm 31 now. Mm-hmm. We've been together all this time. We got married 3 years ago. I really didn't care much as long as we were living together, and I was just a good husband and father. But her family is deeply in church and with God. So, I had to go through something, like you said, fear, and thank God that I overcame the fear, and I just left it up to God, and now there's no more fear. There's just acceptance, and I'm just learning to just listen. And thank you for your app and your radio station, because I stopped listening to music and hip hop and rap for the simple fact that nothing is negative. It's all about how you take it. But if you want to be closer to God, you just need to keep following his rules. And your application, your radio station, has helped me to always be positive and continue to listen to the rules and obey. And that's the only way your marriage will grow. Right. And life.
Well, Andre, it sounds like no, you're perfect. I love what you have to say. Andre, it sounds like you're just really surrendering to God and God's will, and you're doing exactly what I just said about free falling into God's arms and to dive into that deep end. And I love the position that you're in, Andre, because where you're at right now, there just is so many great things that God will take you on, because see, once he knows, this is my opinion anyway, once I feel like when God realizes that we're, totally his, we're just going to be used by God in a great way. I mean, he takes us on a journey that we could have never imagined. And there'll be twists and turns, and there may even be some suffering, but it's such an incredible journey, because you know that God is not only leading you, but he's carrying you. And it's really a wonderful place to be, especially when you can bring that into your relationships. And so I love the position you're in right now, Andre. I can't wait to see what God has in store for you.
And I appreciate that, because, I lost my mother. I never had a father. I never met him. He died when I was newborn. My mother, she passed away like 9 years ago. I had to take my little sister when she was 9. She's been living with me ever since. And I've learned that, yes, there's pain, but you cannot let your pain let you give up, because your pain makes you stronger. And as long as you accept the pain, it's just God absorbs the pain for you if you really do accept. And I feel that, because I was going through a lot of pain, and I gave up, and I said, I don't really care. And then by me going through all this pain, I started listening more. And then once I got married, I honestly got married just to please my wife. But then, like, the past couple months, I have really learned about God and Jesus, and if you just, all you have to do is just follow. If you follow, he will guide you. And like, for Edward, it's like, I know you love your wife. I love my wife too. And I've learned that through God, I learned to love my wife even more than what I thought, for the simple fact that you have to put God first. I don't know if you said it earlier. We're all zeros as humans, but if God is one, and if you put all those zeros next to the one, it becomes valuable. So, and I think it was you that said that earlier. So once you said that just overwhelmed me with joy to try to call and speak up, because we all have to be here for each other. We're all brothers, we're all neighbors, and we have to treat each other with love. And if you just follow, everything will get better. And the sacraments, I know you were saying earlier that it was a little difficult to explain it. The sacraments are rules. You follow the rules. You want your kids to follow you and obey you. Our Father wants that from us. We're all his kids. So in all reality, we're all family, whether we know it or we want to accept it or not. Doesn't matter the gender, the color. We're all one. And just that. And I just want to speak on behalf that I don't really want to say problems that I have, because I leave it up to him. And God is good. God is love. And if you really believe, then slowly but surely he'll help you relieve all that pain that you have. But I just wanted to embrace that to everyone. And God bless everyone. And just continue that through the marriage, your kids will learn. You don't want your kids to grow up and do things the wrong way. You have to set an example. And if things go left, just leave it up to God. But just really, accept what he wants from you.
Mm-hmm. Andre, your story is amazing. You need to get it in a book, because look what you have come through, and you said not having your dad, and then your mom passed away, and then you taking in your baby sister, and what an incredible human being you are. That is awesome. And I just say to you that I'm just going to commit my rosary, just thanking God that he brought you into this world, because that is what you have to say. A lot of people need to hear. And you said you're 31 years old, so a lot of young folks need to hear it. So keep that in mind. You have ministry, I believe, that is waiting you as well. And I tell your wife she's very blessed, and your baby sister that she's very blessed to have you in their life. And I think it's just amazing. Thank you for the call. Stay in touch with us. I'd love to hear how your journey unfolds. I think there's great things planned for you. Take 2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. Stay in touch, okay, Andre?
Not a problem. Thank you, Devin. God bless you, and to all the listeners, all our brothers and family.
Amen to that. Thank you. God bless you.
Amen.
Safe traveling in the city. I'm from Jersey, so only about 20 minutes away. I was anyway, growing up. So safe traveling. Thank you, Andre. Real quickly, another prayer. We need to team up together and pray for Tommy on Facebook Live. Just shared that his marriage is at the end, but his wife, they're separated, but they still live and sleep in the same home. And he says a rosary every day, praying for a miracle. Please, Take 2 family, pray for Tommy and his wife, that God's will be done. There's a lot of relationships right now that are still sharing the same house, but their marriages are crumbling, and we need to pray for those families. And Tommy is one of those relationships, and Tommy is praying the rosary, so we need to join him in that. We need to continue to storm heaven and pray the rosary. Tommy, again, same advice that I shared with Ed. Stay strong in that. Don't ever give up. No matter what the outcome happens in your relationship, the rosary needs to be there for you. Adoration, Mass, confession, the sacraments. Always hold on to that no matter what. No matter what, okay? Because sometimes we put a stipulation on our prayers. I'll be saying the rosary or going to Mass if this happens. And then when that thing that we want doesn't happen, we go, okay, well, I guess God didn't answer my prayers. I'm not going to be there for God. That's not true. God is always faithful to us. He is always faithful to us. We are the ones sometimes that aren't faithful to him, because we have free will, whether it be ourselves or our spouse or our children or whatever. Okay, so we have to remember that God is always faithful to us. JD, I don't know if I have time. I've got 30 seconds, JD, in Dallas. Do you have anything? I know you wanted to share something because I think it's a special day. So real quickly, JD.
Yes, hi, Debbie. Good to talk to you today.
Thank you.
This is a timely program in that it is my 24th wedding anniversary today, my wife and myself.
Yes. And, okay, but JD, you hear the music. I've only got 20 seconds. Your wife's name real quickly?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Okay, Elizabeth and JD, happy anniversary today. God bless you. JD, you'll have to call back again in a different show because only 20 seconds left. You hear that? We have another show planned for you tomorrow. I'm sorry Jerry didn't call in. Something must have happened at the airport, but I'm sure he's okay. Please pray that he has safe travels. Tomorrow is Who Has Taught You Generosity? That's tomorrow's show on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day.